Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.
Richest Roots drink works for menstrual cramps and pain, migraines, fatigue, stress and tiredness, sinusitis, builds immune defense, bloating, enhances male bedroom prowess, and Richest Sorrel Roots drink works against all types of cancers and tumors, memory loss, high cholesterol, insomnia, nervous issues, flu, and many other illnesses. For your Richest Roots drink and Richest Sorrel Roots drink, contact us now via WhatsApp at 876-528-9534. Richest Roots drink and Richest Sorrel Roots drink. Richest, a true Jamaican experience.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Coach's Desk. I am your host, Coach Minzy, and we are indeed here tonight to have a great show because we have a special guest who will be joining us on this stream. And as you can see, this stream is brought to you by Richest Roots Drink, the Jamaican experience. So, persons who are interested in the roots, you need to check out this Jamaican roots, right? And also, there are two flavors, the original and the sorrel drink. You ought to get it, people. So as you heard in the advert, you can actually contact the WhatsApp number and get a hold of one of that Richest Roots drink. All right. So again, people, you know the golden rule. Of course, you know the golden rule. Hit the like button. And that's one of our golden rule over here. And that is the means of sanitizing to come into the Coach's Desk arena. Yes, this is where you will actually get your sporting experience. Welcome to the persons over there on Facebook. Yes, we are delighted to have you on tonight's show. And tonight's show, we have a very special guest with us. We have Harry Watling, the head coach of the Hartford athletics team. He will be joining us in this stream to talk a little bit about some of the Jamaican players that he's quite aware of. All right. So, welcome to the early bird persons that are on. We see I'm looking at I'm Alive. He is on and live in living color. We have Johnny Powell, Flex Supreme, Fresh God. And this is your comment moderator as well as the captain of the comment section. Welcome, Fresh God. Roderick Sharp, welcome to the show. And then we have Sania Bowen. Big up yourself. So we'll be having a lot more people coming in. But without further ado, people, I am inviting my special guest, Harry Watling. I'm taking him from the waiting room and I'll be putting him right on screen. And you just give him a Coach's Desk welcome. All right, Sir Harry, welcome to the Coach's Desk. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on your show. Great introduction.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. We're not could you give us some volume on your end?
Yeah, how's that? Is that better?
Yes. All right, yeah. I'm just checking sound check. All right. So, yes, it's a pleasure having you here on the show. For people who don't know, this is Harry Watling. He's the head coach of the Hartford Athletics team over there in Connecticut. They play in the USL, and it's indeed good to have you on the show. Is everything okay with you so far, Coach?
Yeah, all good. I flew in from London, England on Monday. So I've been here for a week. It's my second season, and the players will be getting here next week to start their pre-season.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And before we go any further, Coach, just tell us, how did you get involved in coaching football or footballers, might I say?
I was a footballer. I was a footballer myself in England. As a young player, I was in the academy system there. And when I realised that maybe I didn't have quite the potential to become a professional, I decided to go down the teaching path and try and pass on any knowledge that I did have to younger people, and started working with younger grassroots footballers in the community first of all. So I'm from a small community, but my small community has produced a lot of good football players. So players would play a lot of street football where I come from. And it was about trying to help those guys get access, and girls get access to the game. When I was 19, I was lucky enough to get offered a job to work in Chelsea's academy. So I worked for Chelsea for 5 years. Then I went back to my roots in South London, and worked for Millwall. And then I finished up working for West Ham before I was highlighted to come over here and be a manager in the US.
Okay, awesome. So you've ever had coaching experience in big teams like Chelsea, and that's awesome. Which club did you play for? You said you used to play a little football, so can you enlighten us on the club that you used to play for?
Yeah, so I was a local player, first of all, and the way it works in England is you represent your town, then you represent your district, and then hopefully you get picked up by a professional club. So I played for Millwall for 3 seasons, as a U12, under 12, all the way up to an under 15, and then didn't get my scholarship. So to get a scholar, you go full time. Didn't get that, and then started playing non-league football, so lower league football, and then from there decided to go and take on the pathway of becoming a coach.
Okay, awesome. But we noticed you got your UEFA B license at a very tender age. I wonder what propelled you to get. What sparked the interest though? Because you used to play the game. Is it the interaction you had with by playing the game that would have sparked your interest to dabble into the curriculum of what the coaches do, or what really sparked that interest?
I think it was two things. I think I was in nearly every team I played in, I was the captain, and I was the captain because I had a good way of making players around me feel better about their game and feel more confident. I wasn't a captain that would be harsh on the players. I would always try and make them feel stronger, better, faster. And the other thing is, I love helping people. I love teaching people new things. So going in and working with younger players first of all was something that that I was really happy to do.
But do you feel any sort of you could say insubordination from players when you coach them because of the age? You're very pretty young in terms of the coaching. Do you feel any sort of backlash from players because of your age and your youthfulness?
No, I'll be honest. I use it to my advantage. I use it very much to my advantage. So I still can demonstrate to a high level. So I know we're going to talk about some of the players that the Jamaican contingent later, but I can still demonstrate what I want. And I think you earn a player's respect by showing them as well, and showing them to a high standard. And I also think you earn someone's respect by your knowledge. I think age is just a number. So, I'm still able to show the players what I want. I'm still able to explain it in the detail that I want. And I think you get respect off of players when they know that you care.
Right, that's true. That's true. The demonstrative part is pretty good as well. You basically say you use it as your advantage, and that's a good way to put it. I absolutely like that. Now you are the now head coach of the Hartford team. Why United States? Because you were a part of the Chelsea's academy, you are part of Millwall, West Ham, and those. Why venture outside of UK now when with your qualification you'd be able to get a job easily in England?
Yeah, I think so. Two parts to that question. The first thing is I've always performed better when I come out of my comfort zone. If I would have wanted to stay in my comfort zone, I would have just stayed at Chelsea because Chelsea was the best academy in the country at the time. And I was working with players like Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Reece James, Declan Rice when he was there. And I want to be able to go outside my comfort zone. The other thing is it's hard to get an opportunity as a head coach in England at the age of 31 or 32. And when I was given this opportunity, it was one that I just felt I couldn't turn down. It was a really good opportunity. So it was one I took with both hands, and being able to work with international footballers was a real eye opener for me, and excited to do so.
Okay, great. Now this Hartford team picked up two Jamaicans. And based on what I read in terms of the pickup, you were very impressed with the Jamaicans that you pick up, especially a Peter Lee Vassell and the likes of Andre L.A. Lewis. Talk to us about them individually, starting with Andre first. He was the last signing, but I want you to talk to us about Andre first.
Yeah, so start off with Andre. I nearly signed Andre last season. Really like him as a player. He's got a fantastic ability to travel from box to box at high speed. He scores goals, creates goals. Great character. Real good down to earth family man. Andre. I've got a lot of time for Andre. Really like his character, and I think at 27, 28 years of age, he's going to bring a real good experience to the team, but he's still in his prime. And, I'll be honest with you, my objective is to try and get Andre back into the national team. That's what I've spoke to him about. I think he's got the ability to do it. I just think he needs the platform to really, truly express himself. So that's Andre. And then Peter Lee, wow. I'll be honest, I couldn't believe he become available. I couldn't believe it. Fantastic ability, great potential. But the exciting thing about Peter is I think there's more. I think there's more to get from him. I think, I watched the game the other night against Peru, and he showed some good bits. But I think there's more, and I'm excited to unlock that for Peter Lee Vassell because I think he's a real fantastic talent.
But what do they bring to the Hartford team? Because from my report, from what I've read, is that these guys would have hurt your team when when they played against your team. So what do they bring to this team, and do you see them helping the team to reach the objective that you would have had for this season?
Great question. Well, as you've read, so Andre Lewis scored 2 against us when we played his team, Colorado, earlier on last season. 2 really good goals as well, to be fair to him. I think they bring goals. I think they bring exciting football. I think they bring imagination. I think that's the big word for both guys. They have great imagination. I want my players to feel free when they get on the ball. And I think both guys have got fantastic imagination with the football and, really good purpose to their play. So I expect them in the middle of the pitch. Both can play 8, both can play 10. I expect them to have a fantastic partnership together, and I'm really looking forward to it and excited.
Okay, you think that they can bring your team to the level that you would want that team to reach?
Absolutely. I think when you sign 2 players as good as these two, both
Mm-hmm.
both boys that have played for their national setup, obviously Peter Lee is playing there now. I think it enhances the team, and I think both guys will will get us to where we want to get to, which is ultimately get into the playoffs and try and have a run at winning the championship.
Okay, great. I just browsed through the the chat just now, and I saw a question coming from one of the persons in the chat. The question is, how will you fit both of them in the starting 11? That's the $1,000,000 question.
Brilliant question. We can be creative. I'm thinking about potentially playing a 3-box-3 this season. So playing four midfielders, 2 6s and 2 10s. And as you can imagine, if you've got Peter Lee and Andre playing at the top of that box together as 2 creative artists, 2 creative magicians, if you like, with a front 3 ahead of them, it will be really exciting. The other thing is, I believe that both players have got the capacity to play as a number 8 as well. So what we can do at Hartford is when we play a 4-3-3, we play 1 6 sitting, and then we play two higher points in front. So again, what you get with both guys is excellent versatility as well.
Okay, great. And of course, Peter Lee Vassell is in the national setup. They're actually preparing to take on Mexico in a very critical, crucial game. Um, if he were to play, what sort of impetus will he bring to the national team in this critical game, in your eyes?
Well, I think when you look at the squad that's been selected, I think it's a really talented group. You got a lot of players that I'm familiar with coming over from the leagues in the UK. Mikel Antonio playing up front, who's been on fantastic form for West Ham all season. Him being serviced by someone like Peter Lee will be able to thread those balls through and potentially, help him get a goal or two. And I think the Mexican backline should be scared of players like that. I think when you look at players like Bobby De Cordova-Reid playing for Fulham, Ravel Morrison coming in, Ravel's trying to, rejuvenate his career. Such a talented player. Daniel Johnson at Preston, another good player. So Peter can add some spice to the players around him, definitely, and I think he can really hurt the opposition and hopefully get a few assists and maybe get a goal.
So I assume that you're rooting for the Reggae Boyz.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
That's great. That's great, Harry, Coach Harry. Talk to us about the other player, Dali, that you have, which is of a Jamaican as well. Talk to us about him. What does he bring to the team? How long has he been there?
So Rashawn is a player again that I've been monitoring for 12 months now. He's another Jamaican in the team. Lovely character, really calm way. Plays as a centre forward, so he's a big physical centre forward. He was brought up literally 10 minutes from our stadium. So he was brought up in Bloomfield, Connecticut, and great family. His dad is a massive football fan, massive Jamaican fan. But I just think, again, having a target player to play off of gives us a different dynamic as a centre forward. We have 2 forwards that are quick and play on the shoulder, and Rashawn is a player that can hold it, link, and be more of a target for players to run past him.
Okay, great. And how long has he been there?
We signed him this off season, so not long. He's another new signing. All 3 guys have come in and new signings, so I'm excited to meet them all next week properly.
Okay, great. And I guess you have a lot of plans for them coming in. There was a question I found another interesting question that I want to put to you, coming from Zabad. What strengths and weakness are shown by players who grew up and were developed by clubs in Jamaica in comparison to, say, the US or UK?
Yeah, brilliant question. I've had a fair bit of experience looking at some of the teams in Jamaica. I know Andre Lewis trains with Portmore when he goes back, but I think what you're finding is you're finding the level of the players, that are coming from Jamaica are getting better and better and better, which is it's brilliant. It's brilliant to see, and I think the gap the gap is shrinking. Like I say, some of those players that I've just reeled off that are in the national team, they're competing at the very, very highest level. Now, some of them will be playing for the national team through a parent or a grandparent, being directly associated with Jamaica, but some of them are not. Some of them have been born, raised in Jamaica, and come through the system. And I think when I'm looking at the level of the top league in Jamaica, there's some really good sides there, and we're looking at one or two players to add to the roster, and we might add another Jamaican still.
Right. So essentially you're saying that you're actually currently scouting the Jamaican Premier League.
Absolutely.
Do you care to share, or I know these information are not really information to let out, especially in a space like this, but do you care to share players that you might be interested in and from the clubs?
Unfortunately, I can't share the players, but
Mm-hmm.
we have been talking to a number of clubs about potentially looking at some loans,
Mm-hmm.
bringing players over. I watched a couple of games recently. Actually, I watched the Champions in their last game,
Mm-hmm.
and that was interesting because I was looking at a player in the back line.
Okay.
So that was good, and again, seeing those players appear against Peru in the national team the other day was good to see. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously I can't drop names, but I think
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But we get the hint
you get
clearly.
them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. And it's good to know though that a learned coach as yourself is actually scouting the Jamaican Premier League, and persons probably think that the Jamaican. Well, let me ask you before I even go about ranting on that. What are your thoughts on the Jamaican Premier League? What in terms of the quality versus the USL? I'm gonna put you on the spot, coach.
No, it's a good question. I think there's some teams in the Jamaican Premier League where the players will sign, and this is to my knowledge, so apologies if I get this wrong, but they'll sign, professional contract where they are contracted to that team and it's run in a certain way. And there are other clubs where the players have a little bit more room. So if a team does come in for them, then they can leave. It's not a semi-pro contract, but it's a little bit more wriggle room. I think the standard's decent. I do. I think there's probably, if I'm honest, two leagues within the one league where you have, your top two or three are your top two or three. But I do think the standard's good, and that's why I'm looking at the league. That's why I'm looking at the players. I think there's some hidden gems in Jamaica. I really do. I think there's some hidden gems there.
Absolutely. That's so Hartford is looking to probably adopt one of those clubs in the Premier League to make loan deals or permanent deals and stuff like that. That it's a good look. It's indeed a good look for the league, and we're happy that you'd have come on this platform to let the world know that you're actually looking on the Jamaican Premier League. All right, coach. I think we would have covered most of the things that we wanted to talk about, but since you're here, um, I'm gonna just ask you to give your preview on the Jamaica versus Mexico game. What do you think of our chances going forward in terms of the predicament that we are in sixth position, based on the teams that are ahead of us? Just share your thoughts and your insights on that, because you seem to be quite au fait with the Jamaicans, especially the ones over there in UK.
Yeah, no, I think again, I was looking at the squad when it was announced. Obviously, with Peter Lee Vassell, I sent him a message to say congratulations. But one thing I would say is the spine of the team is incredibly strong. So I think when you're looking at, so Ethan Pinnock at the back has had a brilliant last 2 or 3 seasons. Brentford have got into the Premier League in England, and Ethan Pinnock playing at the back. Your midfield is extremely strong. You've got, a good front line. Like I said about Mikel Antonio earlier, I think the one area where you'll be able to almost bully the opposition is your pace and power. You've got some real powerhouses in the team. Now, Mexico, good side. I watched them a couple of times last year when they played the US national team, and the US national team did exactly that. They tried to get front foot and bully them a little bit. And I think with with the Jamaican team, there's some really good individuals in there, and it's got to be about that motivation to want to beat a big nation like Mexico. And I definitely think Jamaica can do it. I've got to be honest. I think they can. I think the tactics have got to be spot on. So that's really important. But understanding the weapons that you have at your disposal, you have some top players there. So I think it's an exciting one. I think you're on mute.
My apologies.
No
What would be the keys to victory for the Reggae Boyz over this Mexico team?
Yeah, I think definitely overloading the wide areas, getting the ball wide, using that, that pace that I spoke about and that trickery. So, when you look at some of these players, I really like Lamar Walker as well. He played against us a few times last season, but Daniel Johnson is a player that I've watched him a lot. He's been at Preston for a number of years. He really dictates play centrally. He gets the ball off of the defenders. He can dictate play, and I like him. He can control the tempo of the game. Like I said, I know I keep talking about him, but Mikel Antonio is a beast. He is a beast, and he will bully the back line, and he'll be able to sniff out a goal. But then Andre Gray as well. Andre Gray having a good season at QPR. He's played in the Premier League for your Burnleys and your Watford. So I look at it all over the pitch. The other player which you haven't spoke about is Kev Stewart. I remember Kev Stewart when he was at Liverpool. Was actually a right back at Tottenham and was released and then revitalised his career when he went to Liverpool. And I watched him a number of times live. Kev Stewart's another really good player. So again, I think sometimes you just have to look around the room to motivate yourself and look to your left and look to your right and realise that there's some real top players in the locker room, and Jamaica certainly have that.
Okay, I'm muted again. I don't know if I should put you on the spot, coach, and ask you if you want to take out your starting 11 out of this roster that you're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, let's do it.
And what formation will you bring?
Let's go. Well, let's go with it. My team's probably going to be quite midfield heavy.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I think we'll probably go with a back three.
Back three?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's 5-3-2 or 3-4-2-1.
I think we'll go with a 3-4-2-1.
Okay. All right. So tell me, starting with your goalkeeper.
Well, I know I've seen Andre Blake play, so I've not seen the other two lads play. So right. I think I'd go with Andre Blake in goal.
Mm-hmm.
3 defenders, definitely Ethan Pinnock would be in there.
On the left, right?
Yeah, definitely. Damien Lowe into Miami is an interesting one. And Liam Moore at Reading is another interesting one. And I like both of those.
Okay.
So I'll probably go with those 3. And then, wow.
All right. There's your 3. Ethan Pinnock, Liam Moore, Damian Lowe. So up to your 4 across the middle.
And then the 4 across, I'd go Kev Stewart on the right of that 4 because I know Kevin's played there before. He played as a right back before, so he can do that and link in. The two deeper guys, definitely Daniel Johnson. And
so Kev and Daniel Johnson in the centre.
No, I'd go Kev off of the right side of that 4 in front of the 3.
All right. I need to put that on the screen so you see what I'm doing.
Go on then.
Because I don't know if it's the same shape.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. Let me bring it on. All right, there you go.
Let's have a look. It's just loading up. Here we go. Yeah, so that's perfect. So just move Kev over to the right.
That's it?
No. Kev Stewart to MR.
Oh, extreme right. Okay,
There you
cool.
go. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I think we go speed. I think we should probably put Speedy.
Speedy.
Put
Okay.
Speedy in there next to. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll go with. Let's go Peter Lee on the attacking left side to create that box. So put Peter Lee one up, one higher than that. So just ahead. Yeah, there we go. If we go with, let's go with Lamar Walker on that side. That's it. Yeah. And we'll definitely go with Mikel Antonio through the middle. And then what we can do is we can go, let's go Bobby De Cordova-Reid in that position, because then that shape can flip out of possession and Kev Stewart can just tuck in as a right back and go 4-3-3. That'd be nice. Listen, I'll be honest, I think that team beats Mexico.
Yes. People, what do you think about coach's team? Let me hear the comments. And while they're putting their comments up, coach, have you gotten the opportunity to watch the schoolboy football league?
No, I haven't.
Okay, because there are some gems who could be in that who probably would have been in that league. Some are actually playing for some of the Premier League. But since you have not watched it, we can't say too much on it. But let me see what the people are going to be saying right now. David Nicholson is saying Kevin hasn't played since October and he hasn't trained with the team.
I think I've put Kevin there out of loyalty, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. You're not getting so much of a good rating on this one, coach. I'm seeing a lot of fours.
Fours.
Might I tell you though, the Jamaican fans are very hard to please.
Love it.
Most of what I'm seeing, well,
very offensive team.
somebody is saying no winger. And somebody who possibly is thinking what you're thinking is saying, which is a Norris Douglas, that is a good attacking team. And you get a 9 on that one.
Love it.
Another person is giving you an 8. Duklan 9. Professional pro club FIFA 2020 is giving you a 10. And somebody is saying that no way that team beats Mexico. How about Ravel? Where would you put in terms of your substitution now?
That's a good question. Right, let's have a look at can you get the roster back up?
Yeah, man, I couldn't get it up. Let me move this. And get back the roster here. There it is.
Right. I'd be really controversial if I was the Jamaican coach. I don't think I would name a substitute goalie on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would sacrifice that to have another good player on the bench for an outfielder. I'd definitely have Andre Gray on the bench because I think he'll get a goal. I would definitely have Ravel Morrison on the bench because if you get the right Ravel Morrison, oh my God, what a player! I think Javion Brown and Gregory Lay. How many's that I've got now?
That's you said you put in for the subs, right?
Yeah.
Who would you take out? You have Bobby and Kevin Stewart on the flank. If you're I remember you have 3-4-3.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you put Lay and Brown?
If we was using them off the bench,
Yes.
I would wait for Mikel Antonio to tire out, and I'd bring Gray on.
Mm-hmm.
I would wait and see the how the game was going, and potentially bring. I would potentially bring Ravel Morrison on for one of the central players deeper to try and dictate.
Mm-hmm.
And then the back three would be dependent on how the game was looking.
Right, right.
I think you can tell. I'm quite an offensive coach. I like to look at how we can hurt the other team. But yeah, that's what I think I'd go for.
Okay, okay, good. All right. That's coach. That's coach's team. Their people, and he seems to be an offensive coach. He wants to be on the front foot. So there's not much we can say about this team. Let me put it back on screen. You have gotten some nice scores as well. As you're getting some nines, some tens. So it goes to show that not everybody a coach can please, right?
Exactly, and I think the main thing is what do you want from your boys when they go and play Mexico? You want them to have a go, don't you? You want them to go, and you don't want them to sit in and try and hold out a 0-0. You want them to go and try and win the game, and I think you've got
Mm-hmm.
players to do that, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. All right, coach. This team gets some mixed grade. So definitely it gets a mixed grade. Um, but what's the scoreline would be for you? What's your predicted scoreline?
I think it'll be high scoring. I think it's 3-2 to Jamaica.
3-2 to Jamaica. Okay. All right. That's awesome. So people, 3-2 according to Coach Harry Watling. Awesome. Awesome. Um, what we're hearing now, I don't know, Coach, basically would have come to the end of your segment, right? And we really appreciate you coming here to be with us. But as our very special guest, you're free to stay the full length of the program.
Brilliant.
It's up. It's really up to you. So you can just indicate when you decide to leave, or it's really up to you. But we do appreciate you um coming to the coach's desk to share your thoughts on the new signings, the Jamaicans that you would have signed for you, the club over there in Connecticut, Hartford Athletics. And we wish you all the best for this season as well, the upcoming season. And we hope that the objectives that you had set out, they will be met in all aspect of those objectives. Any final words you want to say before
No,
we
just
move into the next segment?
I want to say, first of all, thank you for having me on. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say a massive big up to all the Jamaican fans, all the players and everyone on this chat and everyone listening. And I really appreciate you having me on. I have unfortunately got to go and have my dinner now, otherwise I would stay on. But no, listen, I appreciate it, and I'll be watching the game, and I'll be cheering everyone on, and obviously I'll be watching Peter closely, and I'm going to be trying to get Andre Lewis back in that squad for
Yes,
the
yes.
next selection as well.
All right, again, coach, really appreciate you stopping by with us again. So take care and enjoy the rest of your evening. You can just continue to watch us if you don't mind on the stream here. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Cheers.
man, no problem. We keep in touch. All right, so there you have it, people. Coach Harry Watling, the Brit, who's gonna be coaching over there in Hartford. He acquired 3 Jamaicans, and he has been observing the league because he still wants to add a few more to his roster. So let us see what will happen. Cavalier has been watched. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Bless upon yourself. So the phone line is open, people. You are free to call. You are free to call in. We'll also be doing our predicted starting 11 for this one and so forth. Definitely, we want to be at the game tomorrow. Of course, we'll be having a watch along. Definitely, that will be happening. You can't afford to miss it, people. You can't afford to miss it. It's just sad that the the fans won't be able to be in the seats at the national stadium. All right. So update, update. All right. From our indication, from tracking the plane that Kev Stewart was in, I could tell you that the player Kev Stewart is actually on the island. Yes, the plane that he presumably was traveling in, it landed some time ago. And Paul Hall indicated from his press conference that all the players will be in before the end of the day. You know what I mean? So that is that where that is concerned. I also did another report to indicate that um, the reports that I got from the camp is that the players are in high spirits. The players are in what? High spirits. They are enjoying the time. They are enjoying the time spent with each other. They are doing a lot of work. They are putting in the work to ensure that they get the result that they need. Right? So we definitely look forward. You know, people, in terms of what I have to say on what will transpire tomorrow. You know, the coach is trying to get the best out of these players. You know what I mean? And it's a good look. It's a good look. And it's good to know that coach is trying to get the best out of these players. But my thing to that is, people, my assessment of that is I do believe that execution is going to be key to us getting the desired result. Execution. I believe execution will give us the desired result. What do I mean by execution? Players need to be concentrating throughout the time that they're on the pitch. Players should be finishing when they need to finish. You know, that whole psychological part of the game. If that is done, then certainly I am seeing a victory for the Reggae Boyz. You know what I mean? I I see victory for the Reggae Boyz. So all they need to do is to execute all that they would have, Paul Hall said from the press conference, is that he he would have actually had the team that he had in Peru for about 7 days. This team, the time will be less that he has them, right? But in the same breath, he believes that the time that he got 2 hours with this team now. So basically he's saying that, you know, what I did with the team in 7 days is basically different from what will transpire in the 2 days. But I think that they would have gotten what he wanted them to actually. Hold on, let me take a call here. Hello, good evening, Attorney Murphy. Welcome to the coach's desk, and happy New Year to
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having me, Coach. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to one and all, and especially to you and the family.
Yeah, man. Thanks. What say you, man?
Well, this is needless to say, it's a pivotal game for Jamaican soccer, not only as it relates to this particular campaign, but as it relates to the momentum that we're going to need to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Watling had a very interesting team. I guess my one concern with that team was as I look at the makeup of the team. You are talking about a Mexican team that's very technically gifted on
Yes.
the ball. And so we need guys in the middle of the field that can tackle. And when I look at that middle four, the two that he had in the center of the pitch, I had a little bit of concern about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kevin will tackle, but we don't know exactly what kind of shape he's going to be in physically. Lamar Walker, and I'm trying to think who he had. Speedy was the other guy that he had in the middle.
Uh,
But I think
no, he had Daniel Johnson and Devon Williams in the middle with Bobby Reed and Kev.
okay. I just that is my concern because teams that are technically gifted like South American teams are and like this Mexican team will be. I mean, you can't wait until they get into the attacking third in the your final third uh, to try to break up the rhythm of the game. You got to break the rhythm of the game up in the middle of the park.
Right, right.
And I just and that's the one area that I'm a little concerned about. The other area that I think is of concern is up top. I mean, Mikhail is fantastic. I mean, he's tough, he's rugged, he's very direct, and all of that. But is he going to be able to do it by himself? That's where's when you look at how that I mean how he had the team laid out. I don't see the kind of like the false nine that will provide the support to a guy like McCall. Because if we're going to play the formation that we're going to play, those two guys that are playing in front of your middle four, they have to be premium passers on the ball. They have to be very technical on the ball, and I don't think the two guys that we had up there are those types of guys.
Okay, okay. But
You
that
know what I mean?
go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, man, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say Mikhail is the kind of guy, if we're going to play him up top by himself,
Mm-hmm.
then the service that's coming out of the middle of the park need to be on point.
Yeah, it has to be spot on.
Because that's the only way he's going to be effective. If he's going to have to drop off to get possession and to get possession in ways that he can threaten that Mexican defense, we've just completely negated his ability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to get him the ball in areas where he's putting Mexico on the back foot, and that's where he's going to be dangerous. And that just requires really good service, good passing into the space, into the gaps. I mean, where when he gets it, he's in a threatening position.
Yes, yes, that's
So I'm always a little leery for Jamaica playing a lone striker up front, because that's never something that we've done with any great degree of success.
True. So you'd have had him with you probably adjust that formation to 3-5.
Yeah, I would. I would definitely adjust the formation to 3-5-2 with some kind of a false nine to play off of Mikhail.
Yeah, man, I agree.
Because I think and I say we do that for two reasons. It's important to on the defensive side of the ball to disrupt Mexico's rhythm in the middle of the park, and then when we're on offense, we need to make sure we're giving the right support, to our talisman.
Yes, definitely.
But it's gonna be, man, it's gonna be an interesting game. I mean, and them boys need to show up, and I mean, they need to ball out. I mean, there's no other game. This is it. And that's if I'm the coach, this is a one game. Like on my side of the pond, coaches used to tell us, hey, this is a one game season.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't worry about the next opponent. This is a one game season. You got to treat it like if you lose this, there's no tomorrow.
Okay.
It's winnable. I mean, the game in Mexico, we should have won that game.
Yes, true. But we could have also lost that game in Mexico too.
Yeah, true. But if you look at how that game played out, I mean, we had the lead in the waning moments at that game. They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They had better chances than we did, but we had the lead. And then if you look at the goal that they scored, they didn't do anything that a team that had good spatial awareness and understands situational awareness, hey, the time in the game and where we're at and what it is that we needed to do to ensure that we came up there with full points. We should have handled that. We got lost in our defensive assignments.
True.
So that those are the things that I see. I mean, you watch pro teams play in especially in pressure situations. The one thing that they don't do in those situations, they never allow themselves to get outnumbered in the box at all.
Mm-hmm.
And on that goal that Mexico scored, they had more people in the box than we did.
True.
That can't even happen at Colts level. That shouldn't ever happen at Colts level. And that's coaches, understanding what's going on and willing your guys to get back. But then it's also the players having that awareness when they're out there on the field. Like, yo, we're leading this game. There's 5 minutes left in the game. They've got the ball. Hey, every man has got to be behind the soccer ball. So if I gotta do a 60-yard sprint to get back, that's what I got to do. You know what I mean? And I got to pick somebody up, because a lot of times when I watch Jamaica play, we'll run back, but we're not picking anybody up.
Yeah, man, that's true. That's so true.
But I'm praying for the boys, man. I mean, that's my home country, and I bleed the red. I bleed the black, yellow, and green, and ain't nothing going to change that. We can beat Mexico. We should beat Mexico. We're talking about in the office. Man, we should beat Mexico. The one thing I'm upset about is, come on, man. Look, think about how important this is to the country, and we don't have no people in the stands.
I tell you.
That's a travesty. I know a lot of Jamaicans don't want to get into it, but the reality of it is, man, our leaders, their decision making leaves a lot to be desired. We're talking, this is the national stadium, okay? That place holds a couple thousand people, 10,000, 30,000, whatever the capacity is. You can space that out. I'm sorry. There should be no circumstances under which you don't got people in the bleachers, you don't have people in the grandstand. You can do that, man. These boys, these men need the country support. You know what I mean? They need it.
That's
look, you look at the EPL. England, the United Kingdom, have a higher COVID rate than we do.
Mhm.
Okay, and I don't see Liverpool playing with an empty stadium. I don't see Tottenham or Chelsea or Man U or Man City. I don't see any of those places playing with an empty stadium. So what is it that they understand that the authorities in Jamaica do not understand?
Yeah, man. It's a tough decision that was made, and we are not in liking with it. The fans are very, very, very important to this cause.
Man, it's everything in football, especially in this format. Everything in football. When you're talking about World Cup qualifying, man, that's the gift that keeps on giving. Having your fans there, rabid, having cataract jump in the fence. I mean, that's what we need.
Put it this
Yeah.
way: I've heard coaches in post game interviews when there weren't any fans in the stadium in the professional leagues across Europe, that they are
Mhm.
saying that they might lose a game by 1-0 or 2-1, and there were coaches who were saying that if the fans were here and they have the 12th man, it would have been a totally different scenario.
In
These guys
every, I'm just telling you. Go ahead.
these guys know the importance of the fan. These guys know that it is important to have fans in the stands. There's no two ways about it. And it's absolutely ludicrous that the fans aren't in the stands tomorrow.
I mean, precisely. I mean, we had a god darn election, okay, and social distancing and COVID-19 and all that kind of stuff was not a concern, for our leaders when those things were going on. And I mean, the reality of it is when that election was held, I mean, we weren't dealing with Omicron. We were dealing with Delta and the initial variant of COVID-19, which are far more dangerous than the one they deal with now.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we pulled it off. I mean, you look at our public transportation system in Jamaica, where is the social distancing? So, I mean, you're saying somebody can get into a taxi or somebody can get into a JUTC bus, but they can't get in the National Stadium.
Yep.
I mean, none of this makes any sense. Go down to Coronation Market.
But
Aren't there hundreds and hundreds of people? Go ahead.
the local schoolboy football, those finals had fans. Both the rural and the urban finals, they had fans.
Man, look, all I got to tell you is, brother, is like brother and Nancy and brother Tuckerman got together and made that decision because that can't be no real people that's making that.
Brother Anansi and brother Tukuman.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you cannot
hear me, coach? We can't hear
justify
you. Can you
that.
hear me?
Yes, man, I hear you, cranky.
You can't. I mean, you cannot justify it. It defies all logic in terms of a lot of the things that you see on a day-to-day basis. To say that you cannot have fans, okay, in a game of this magnitude, given where we're at in terms of COVID-19. I mean, I saw a news conference with the Prime Minister today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was talking to some stock exchange people and whatnot, and he was saying that, hey, we are going to be rolling back the restrictions. Well, rolling back now,
Mm-hmm.
because he's talking about rolling back the restrictions for the country as a whole. Okay, and here you have a game at the National Stadium, which is a controlled environment. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you get to pick and choose. If you want to say, hey, people can't get in there unless they've got their vaccination, fine. If that's the criteria, then let that be the criteria. If you want to say people have to be vaccinated and they have to wear a mask while they're there, that fine. Let that be the criteria. But to say people can't go watch their national team, that's insanity.
Yeah.
You know, That is completely insanity. It's a travesty. And this type of decision making is the type of decision making that has set sports back in Jamaica. We have the talent. Okay, we have the talent in terms of the players. We lack talent in terms of our administration.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're
You
seeing
know,
somebody saying funds were not approved for this schoolboy finals, but this is Jamaica, so people turn up. I mean, so people can turn up at the national stadium.
hey, you know what? It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time. I don't think those fans are any higher than they were when I lived in Jamaica. So there might be a few people jumping over them, and they're so good for them. Come on, man. I mean, seriously. Every major sports league, okay, every major sports league. The NBA has fans. The National Hockey League has got fans. The NFL's got fans. I mean, when Major League Baseball starts up back in the U.S., they're going to have fans. The EPL, Serie A, La Liga, League One. I mean, you name it. All of these entities have fans. Okay, they may have restrictions, capacity, testing requirements, and things of that nature as a prerequisite to fan participation, but they have it.
True.
Okay, they have it. I mean, we look. If we can max this thing out, and you can have your guest comment on it, but if we can max this thing out, and I'm talking about get to a point where we get to the World Cup, okay, that does two things, okay, for us. It completely opens up England, okay, it completely opens up England. And then it sets the standard for our local guys that are in training in Jamaica, trying to learn their craft, okay. They now know what the standard is, okay, for one. Two, okay, if a Jamaican team gets to another World Cup and performs creditably, okay, you're going to have a lot more eyes on the island. Watling said he's down in Jamaica. He's scouting the Premier League and all that other kind of stuff. You're going to have a lot more eyes on the islands. Will give us an opportunity to produce some more Leon Baileys and some of the other kids out there that are playing their trade, because that's what we need. We know right now in Jamaica the infrastructure is not there. Okay, the organization, the resources is not there for us to grow a homegrown international player. We can get them started, but we can't finish them in Jamaica.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, and anybody that's telling you different, I'm sure Cavaliers got some fantastic players. They don't got no international players. They got some players with skill that if you get them in the right setting, okay, that they can hone that talent and they can get to a level where they can get to the international level. But there aren't any guys that are going to roll out of Jamaica and roll into any EPL team and be a starter. That's going to be a process. We're not there yet.
Right.
But we got to get these kids some looks, man. I mean, that as an association, that's what their job is. Your job is not to control the player's life. Your job is to make sure you got a structure, okay, where the resources are available, where these kids can hone their crafts, okay, and then your structure is such that you give them an opportunity to engage in meaningful opportunity. I mean, they're trying to control it from cradle to the grave, and it's never worked like that anywhere.
Okay.
It's all the academies that you get out there in any one of these countries. If you think about what they do, they train their athletes, okay, get them to peak performance, okay, and then people come and look and say, hey, you know what? Barcelona wants that one. Real Madrid wants that one, okay. And then Real Madrid and these clubs take them and do, and that's the model that Jamaica has to have, because we don't have the resources to take these kids from cradle to the grave. We can take them to a point, okay, to where they're attractive to entities with far more resources, and then they can and then they can go from there. But we got to grow the thing. We just have to, and this is a perfect opportunity.
All right, Sir Murphy. Thanks very much. Very good points you made there. And I hope that someone is listening who is in great power so that for the next game against Costa Rica, we can have the fans in the stands. Thanks very much for calling. Stay tuned to the
Not a problem.
All right.
Yeah, not a problem. Until Jamaica's got CCTV, so the fence jumping ain't gonna work.
All right.
All right.
All right. So welcome to Cranky Stan
Bless up.
and Sean. Sean in the building. What's up, Sean? What's up, Cranky?
I'm here.
I'm here, Coach. I'm trying to figure out where Sean there. Sean look like they lock him up.
Listen, man. This is
Hey, they lock him up. That's suit, no, Coach.
Yeah.
Lock up our dress up.
well. This is a new stunt. I am driving and not texting, but I'm driving and typing. So you guys go figure.
I mean, you're driving. You mean you're in a vehicle? I hope you're not
He's
driving.
in a vehicle that is moving.
I know. Yeah. I'm in a vehicle.
Can't be around
So you're going to say you're not Tesla or something, and a Tesla driving. You still got to concentrate.
But
use a Tesla.
But hey, Coach.
Yes.
Earlier today, I had a stone in my hand, right? And you know who I was going to be stoning? Actually, in the comment section, it was going to be Coach Paul Hall. As much as I welcome him and glad that he is here, I was walking with a proverbial stone for Paul Hall, and I'll tell you why. Anthony Grant wrote a letter to not just the JFF, but to Jamaica, pleading essentially to be on the squad. It was a very emotional letter that he wrote, right? Persons laughed at him. He didn't get called. We did call him, and he became the cornerstone where, to me, as far as I'm concerned, if it wasn't for Grant, we would be mathematically eliminated at this point in time. Now, persons can disagree. Okay, fine. But that's just my point of view. We would be mathematically eliminated. And the first chance Paul Hall got, he eliminated Grant from the squad completely. Not even good enough to make the bench. So I was walking with a proverbial stone for Paul Hall. Okay, all right. Today I'm watching the press conference. Don't know what time it was. And somebody asked him about Grant. And he said, well, you know, and this is to paraphrase what he said. It's not verbatim. I'm looking for players that, I don't remember if he said flexible, but can play in, I think he said versatile and can play in multiple positions.
Right.
And in addition to that, it allows them to shift formation. Now, with that explanation, I'm going to drop the stone because I'm like, well, I can't see where I come from. Grant, if they shift formation and, you know, they are looking for somebody that's more attacking and Grant is not that type of player, then I can see where Grant might not have the ability to fit into his plans. So it's not a situation where, boy, Grant too old. Let's just drop him. So I had a proverbial stone for Paul Hall, but what I'm going to do instead is credit him for communicating with us in an open manner and providing an explanation and not leave us in the open, like wondering, like, what the hell, like, why is Grant not in the squad? So, shout out for Paul Hall for, you know, providing us with that explanation. And I'm not going to say I agree with it, but he is the coach and I can see his strategy then. He's looking for a versatile squad with mobile players and that might not, and Grant might not fit into that mold.
Okay. All right. So it's the coach, right?
Again, yes.
Yes. What say you, Cranky?
No, I've said this a number of times. no, you will never have consensus in the fan community around who a coach picks in his 23.
Never.
Now, what the coach have alluded to is that he could only pick 23 because they were restricted. I assume that inference is to monetary challenges as to why he couldn't have more than 23, because you notice a number of teams have more than 23 in their squad for these 3 games. Secondly, as Sean alluded to, he did indicate, because I did listen to the interview today, I think what he was talking about was more, I need to have players not only flexible, but who can progress the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch how he played against Peru, you see he wants very mobile players and supposedly players who can press, even though I think the press should be out the window, because if you press, we don't lose the game, because you press not the way he wants to press. You got to press selectively. When you don't have stamina, you can't keep the ball. But he'll press in the game, but it's going to be, I hope it's managed press versus all-out press. But I think, look, Grant has done yeoman work for the country. He has excelled when he played, even though he's limited. We had Grant and Haka in the midfield, and that combination is slow and ponderous. And what he's gone is more technical players, more mobile players, players who can better keep the ball when we play against the better teams in CONCACAF, which is something that we need because we struggle to do so. So at the end of the day, I bless up Devon. I'm going to give the coach the benefit of the doubt. I do think he's a little bit short in the center of the park. And I noticed that the coach you had on earlier, when he gave his, by the way, I thought he was drinking when he gave his when he gave his players, because I agree with 3 at the back, gave him that where the strength is, and he pointed that out. But I thought putting Stewart on the right, and was it Lamar Walker or Peter Lee Bassel on the left was, okay, he doesn't have the full picture, so I'm going to forgive him for that. But I do think if we think about the team holistically, what we're trying to achieve, who we're playing, that he's picked a lot of mobile players and players with pedigree who can probably match up well with the Mexicans. I think that's what he wants to match them player for player. He wants to be able to match them technically. The coach you had on talk about the physicality of the Jamaican players. Hopefully we actually exercise that physicality, because we haven't done so apart from Antonio throughout the previous game.
Right.
And look, the Mexico team is going to be a tough team to play because they're coming off 2 consecutive losses. They've had a challenging campaign. They know that fan pressure at home is going to be, if they lose this game, they may as well not go back home, given how difficult it's going to be for them and how the campaign is going, because the pack will be catching up to them. So, yeah, it should be interesting in terms of how this all works out at the end of the day. But I'm going to give the coach a benefit of the doubt. The one thing I say, though, coach, is that the coach actually speaks English. And we can understand him. He's clear. He's lucid. He's articulate. And he's also Jamaican, because he did say aeroplane. I ain't nobody in another country talking about aeroplane. It's airplane. It's not aeroplane. And that's a Jamaican term. So he has spoken part about his household at some point. But, he has the accent, which always sounds good, a British accent, no matter where in the world you go. And he's very clear in terms of how he communicates. And he doesn't shy from questions. He answers the questions. And that goes a long way when you are in that role that he's in. Because what people don't realize, coach, is this. You can have all the coaching acumen you want, but if you can't articulate what you're trying to say and provide perspective to your audience, then you're not going to be viewed in the best light. And I don't think the previous coach excelled in that area, and that was part of his challenge, I think.
Right. There's also Eagle Republic has a comment there on the screen, which is saying Mexico is coming with blood in them, and you alluded to that based on what they are coming off 2 consecutive defeats. So I mean they're going to be pushing hard. But from our reports, what we have been getting is that Mexico are without 3 of their top players: Corona, Jimenez, and Lozano. So I'm not going to say it's a big blow for them, because these Central America teams, when they lose a play, it's like nothing. I don't see where it weakens the team. And Mexico has a lot of quality. to actually replace. But I just want to put that out there that these these three players are out, and I'm also hearing that somebody else has caught the virus. I'm not gonna say because I have not confirmed it. I've just seen a report, but I have not confirmed it because I'm on this space right now. So that is the
Yeah, but
situation.
coach, I mean, as you said, they have interchangeable parts. I mean, it's like you have the same part, maybe a little bit not as good, but it's still a very good part. You just plug them in. I mean, they probably have 50, 60 players they can choose from who are quality players. We may have 30. As you said, they're interchangeable. They have a lot of quality players, a lot of young players who are coming to their ranks. They have a very good league, one of the better leagues in the world. So they'll find players. It's not their
Yeah,
problem.
man, definitely. I agree with that. All right, let us get this. Oh, here's Eagle Republic saying it that centre back Cesar Montes is also out with COVID. I think it's the same one that I read about. But
So, coach, I have to respond. So, coach, I don't do this as a coach. I read the comments and I smile at them. But there's some person to comment called Oheen Blake or something like that, who is saying, I'm going to eat my words. I have no idea what he's talking about. I saw a kid yesterday was able to get Paul Hall to come on another program, and he was so happy. He was like jumping for joy, like a 5-year-old. And I'm glad that kid had those associations. I'm pleased with that. But I don't eat. I'm not a diplomat. At the end of the day, I do think we have a good squad, and I hope the squad performs well tomorrow. And I hope we beat Mexico. That's the goal.
all right. Data Boss is saying Grant has made his name among the Jamaicans. We trust in Grant, but now we have to trust in Paul Hall.
As I've said before, Grant has played well since he's been the team, but Grant is not the answer.
I can't connect to your Wi-Fi network.
Who's trying to connect there, Cracky?
I have this Alexa. I didn't talk on his own, coach, by the way. I didn't say Alexa. He just thought, let me plug him out because, you know what? He may be recording me. 1 second, coach. Give me...
Yeah, man. So with these players out for the Mexicans, they might, be a little bit depleted. But I'm not looking too much into that because I do think that they have able replacements where that is concerned. All right. So
But coach, one thing, coach, you notice the coach you had before mentioned about spreading wide and playing, having players on the wing with, the ability to either get by people. We don't have good wingers in this team. I hate to put it that way, and I'm sure the wingers going there may be offended, but I don't think our wing quality is what it needs to be. We don't have the Grays and the Baileys out wide, even though Bailey hasn't played well. I see that 100 times, but he has quality to really cause the Mexicans problem. And that's a challenge because you do want to spread the field as wide as possible when you get the ball to give yourself more room to maneuver. We don't have that in the team. And that's why a lot of people are promoting the 3-5, the 3-4-3 or 3-4-2, whatever.
Right, because of the lack of wingers.
Yeah, because we have the strength in the back and we lack wingers.
Yeah, so I agree. I think we are weak on the wings. And again, CDM, we only have one designated and no backup. So I'm very interested to see what the strategy is going to be from Paul Hall based on the players selected.
All right. Before we go any further, people, we have 340 odd people on. Thank you very much. Big up to all the persons that are on. Big up to those over there on Facebook. But we only have 100 and less than 200 likes. Come on, if you have not sanitized since you came into the coach's desk arena, you need to do so. That is the golden rule, and that is a means of you staying safe in this space. All right. So yes, just to update, like I told you earlier, Kevin Stewart is currently in the island. All the players are now in the island. Everybody's here, people. Don't worry yourself. all and sundry is here. I'll be putting up a poll, but gentlemen, Sean and Cranky, what would be the keys to victory for the Reggae Boys? What do the Reggae
You
Boys
can go
have to
first,
do?
Sean. I like to go last.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Sean.
No problem. I'll give Stan a chance to piggyback on my comments. The keys to winning the game is did what he did in the Peru game for 95 minutes, not 89, not 90, but even, I mean, above 90, because we don't want to give up any type of late goals. Yeah, so essentially the game plan from Peru, I think if we can implement that for a good 90 minutes, then we should be good.
I was short. I don't think I'll piggyback off that at all.
All right. So let me be a little bit more specific. And I wanted to take on Stan regarding something that he always say, that we don't have the quality players to play out from the back. And in that Peru game, we were doing it. And yes, we did give up a goal playing out from the back, but it was because, well, not going to throw anybody under the bus, but that player is not in the squad. So I think if we play out from the back and do a better job possessing the ball, then, you know, we should be in a good position to win this game with the quality that we have on the pitch, or we will have on the pitch.
All right, so here's my key to victory. I'm gonna do it sequentially. My goalkeeper needs to do a better job of distributing the ball. So when I turn the ball over to the Mexicans, we're gonna have more possession than we do. The coach needs to pick the right team for this occasion, which is, I think Devin has said, others have said, is play to your strengths. We have 3 at the back, 3 very good central defenders. We should utilize those defenders. We need to control them into the park. And therefore, we need to have the Ravel, Stewart, and Speedy really playing up to their potential. Because that's where Mexico is really good. Always in the middle of the park, playing short passes. We need to get the ball to Ravel and to Antonio. More important than Antonio, we need to create isolation for Antonio one-on-one to allow him to go to work. Why I'm not talking about the wings? Because I'm not comfortable with the wing play. So we play 3 at the back, at least Javane Brown and Tax will get more chance to overlap and put the ball in the box, whether it's Antonio playing in the front, Antonio and Gray, because we're much more physical, we're more athletic. We should be able to win those balls that's coming in high or use our power to try to overpower them. Number of different things that we have.
Cranky is gone.
So, Coach, one of the things I wanted to ask him too was, is he playing Taxi over Greg Lay? Yeah. So that's one of the.
What would you do?
So I really would play Greg. I know Taxi is going to start because I heard Paul Hall in one of his previous comments. He was talking about, I guess, the he didn't say core players, but he did mention Taxi as somebody in that vein. So I know, just based on the coach's previous comments, I don't remember what the question was, but he did mention Taxi. He did mention Javane Brown and 1 or 2 other young players where I think he was talking about building for the future or something along that line. So I know, just based on that comment alone, Taxi more than likely is going to start for this game. But me, I would start Greg. And we're talking keys to winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
3 key players, and it's right down the middle, would be Speedy, Ravel in front of him, and Gray kind of playing that false 9 role is gonna be key. And of course, I would go with a 3-5-2.
Okay, a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be looking at formations later on. Is there any weakness of the Mexican team that we could actually exploit?
That I don't know. I know they're missing, a few players. To me, that don't mean anything because Mexico and the United States has so much depth. It's like they can use a B team and still be very competitive. So I don't know if because they're missing what they consider or we consider to be key players, if those key players are going to create a void.
Okay. All right. I tend to agree with you, though, Sean, in terms of the not really looking into Mexico losing for Mexico losing these players. I'm not looking into it too much because this Mexico team is very good. Even though they have come off they are coming off two loss. I am not going to say that this Mexico team is so much depleted that Jamaica will be all over them. No. They still can put passes together. The thing about it, this team has been together for a while. So if one player's out, it's like nobody is. They always have personnels who can come back in and put things together where that is concerned. Coach Devon, big up yourself and welcome. And in the meantime, people, this video is brought to you by Richos Roots. Yes, man, Richos Roots is sponsoring this video as we speak. And if you need to get your roots, there is the regular flavor, and also there is the sorrel drink that you need to get, people. If you're in Jamaica, please contact the number that the WhatsApp number there on screen, and we will get this Richos energized sort of drink to you. All right. So Stan Cranky is back. We're not hearing Devon. He just came on. We're not hearing him. But I don't think that this Mexico team, even though they don't have the players that we might be used to, will going to be an easy team, a walkover team. No. But I believe that we should take make use of the advantage, the home situation, and sort of, rough up the Mexicans. Albeit do it in the spirit of the game. That's what I meant by that. So in terms of that, I certainly believe that the physicality that Coach Harry mentioned is something that we need to utilize in this game. The Mexicans are diminutive and they are very skillful. You know what I mean? They definitely will do all they can, to move the ball around and to get what they want. So I believe that once the players stay focused, once we execute, I believe, and I've said it earlier and I will say it again, I believe that execution is going to be one of the things that will assist us in this game. Because getting all the information, they might be talking the tactics. Coach might have his one-on-one with these players and so forth because he need to get into their minds. But at the same time, if they don't execute, then it might be a problem. What say you, Stan?
Yeah, first of all, I want to address the Grant issue. I think they had a choice between Grant and Stewart, and I think they chose Stewart actually because he wants someone much more flexible and can progress the ball. No, Mexico's always a tough team to play against. Mexico on the world stage has done really well. They have struggled more recently, but look at their history. I mean, they do struggle to get out the 16 when they get to the second round of the World Cup or the third round, but they have always played well and has qualified for most World Cups apart from 1 year where they weren't allowed to go because of some overage things. So they always going to be a good team. They live and breathe football. I expect them to do well. I expect it to be a tough game. But as the coach that was on previously mentioned, we do have the players to come up with a positive result. We have a coach who talks a good game. So let's hope his words are reflective of his ability to manage a game. Sean mentioned that we should play like we do against Peru. And I'm laughing because, Sean, if we do a 5-0 again, we have to play against Peru. Yeah, so we bust second half. We couldn't come out. We barely couldn't walk on the field second half. We played the first half really well. We are running. We're controlling the ball. We're being technical. They could pass. In the second half, our tongues were long enough our mouth. We can't play like that.
But Cranky, since you're there, is that an indicator that the team, the players, they are not fit enough? Or is it an indicator that
I'm going to manage that word fit enough, coach. Be careful with that word fit enough. Fit enough is talking about how I normally play and how much effort I have to exert when I play. So if you're Liverpool, if you're Man City, if you're Southampton, if you're Brentford, you're used to playing that way for most of the game, right? If you're Antonio, West Ham doesn't play that way. Most teams don't play that way. So for me to be running, I can't rest on defense. I have to rest on offense. We don't possess the ball that well to rest on offense. So if think about it, when you're running, if you're running all the time, at some point you're going to get tired. And think about it this way. So I'm going to chase you when you have the ball. You keep the ball really well, so I'm chasing you a lot. When I get it, I'm tired. And if I get it, I can't keep it, and I give it back to you all the time, I'm running for most of the game. It's tough to do that. I think we should press selectively, which is, you know what? Think strategic about when you press, when certain situations of the game you press, but don't try to press for the entire game. You don't have the stamina to do that. It's just not feasible.
Yeah, so press in intervals. I agree with that. Yeah, so press in intervals are not necessarily for the whole half. But Stan.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about how that team of mostly, or let's call it the B team, mostly local players, were playing the ball out from the back? Because that's one of the big changes I wanted to see with the goalkeeper not booting the ball up the field, and I wanted to see the defenders or our defenders being pressed and their ability to play out of the press. So and I know you say it all the time. If I say it's the coach, it's the coach, it's the coach, you say it's the quality, it's the quality, it's the quality. You say we don't have the quality to play out from the back. So what's your analysis based on just that part alone, playing out from the back? Do you still feel the same way, or do you think you need to reassess that point of view?
Well, no, my point of view is logical because our history has shown in all the games we have played throughout the Gold Cup and in World Cup qualifiers, I'm not sure there's any game we have had more possession than the opposition, even against the lower half team El Salvador and Honduras. So it does talk. Even with the English-based players in the team, is the same thing. Against Peru, there's two things in the Peru game. One is, I think Peru gave us a little more room to play, and I think we were better in our passing and how we hold the ball up, right? So maybe the coach has been practicing this, showing you how when you get the ball, how to receive the ball, how to turn on the ball, how to move off the ball. Maybe he's been drilling the fundamentals and building up the confidence when you get it, it's yours until you let it go. And Lowe and others were passing better from the back. Sometimes you're passing better from the back is you have someone in your face blocking you, and the person you're passing to, are they being closely marked? Sort of basic fundamentals, right? And I do think in Peru we got a little more room, but we were better passing the ball and be able to hold the ball up. But second half showed you that we struggled. Now that could be stamina, fatigue. Then fatigue makes us all very human, as I would sort of think about all of this. And
right.
We second half, but first half we were good.
Yeah, the coach did mention that it has something to do with fatigue. But let us hear from Coach Devon. He has been waiting for quite a while. Go ahead, Coach.
Gentlemen, I'm in the background here and I hear a lot of things. Okay. There are a few things I need to address here. Playing out from the back. Now, when you look at the central defenders we have in a 3-5-2 formation, they are quality defenders that will enable you to play outside the back. Three key things for playing outside the back: movements, width, and depth. If you cannot provide those three things, it does not matter what you do in a football game, you will not be able to play outside the back. Okay? Now, in terms of the game tomorrow, for us to get a result in this game tomorrow, we have to be patient. We have to pick our moments. We can be expansive. Play with each other, play with your teammate. But there is one word that's going to break it all down. You have to be disciplined in how you do what you do tomorrow. And if we can't do that, sorry, gentlemen. Those are the things, key things. And I think this current coach will allow them to do these 5 things. He's going to tell them, gentlemen, just be patient in what you do. Pick your moments. Yes, you can go at them, but you have to connect with each other going forward. You have to drop off when we lose possession of the ball and help everyone. No man is left behind, and be disciplined in what you do. And another word, stay organized. Those are the things that's going to help us tomorrow.
Coach, I also think, Coach, that what you do when you play sometimes depends on your opposition. So if Mexico presses us, then we have a chance to go over the top and use our athleticism to get behind their defense. They press as a team, not so the half press. They press as a team. Also, what we don't do well, which has hurt us as a team, is that our midfielders don't really turn when they get the ball. There's no half turn. There is no dipping and go forward. So therefore, the defense is struggling to catch up with you. We just pass it back we just try to get rid of it as quick as possible because we're not confident keeping the ball. The question is, can Ravel and Speedy and DJ or Stewart, when they get the ball, can they turn? Are they comfortable in possession? Can they play under pressure? Because Mexico does put pressure on you defensively. Can we be comfortable with the ball, maybe to move the ball, versus just be, try to get the ball to the defense and we just bull it upfield and try to start over?
Yeah, man. Let's look at some of the comments. Big up to Lolo. I'm checking out some of the comments. This person is saying, defend as a team, take our chance, and remain focused. The coach need to help with communicating constantly with the team from the sideline. Don't just watch and wait. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, those are sort of basic fundamentals, right? Devin mentioned that in terms of organization, be disciplined, which is the same concept of defend as a team. Take our chances. We don't get a lot of chances. So, yeah, I mean, in the game against Panama, Roof got 2, didn't take them. Bobby Reed seemed to get chances and can't find where to go. We don't get a lot of chances. So it's imperative that we get them, we take them. Hopefully we can create more chances tomorrow. If we recall the first game against Mexico, we didn't get any chance in that game. Even the goal that Nicholson scored was a header which was headed down, and he made the most of it. So we have to be better at home than we were in the first game. I think we will be. So I think we have better quality players, and I think we'll be more organized. But as you said, Coach, previously, we should not underestimate the opponent because they have quality regardless of who they're missing. But yeah, I do agree with the sentiments here around sometimes coaches are reactive versus proactive. Sometimes we watch game coach and we're saying, why isn't the coach making a change? Or can't he see that they're overloaded on one side? Why can't he see what's happening? I would say, though, when you're at field level, it's more difficult than when you have a top view looking down and seeing all the parts, like looking at a chessboard and seeing all the parts and how those parts interact and how they move around. But I do agree that we have to be really organized when we play the Mexicans, or it may be a long night. So coach seemed to have stepped away. Jamaica must try to score early if we want to win. Just for the Mexicans to open up to look for the equalizer. I think we just have to score and they don't score. That's the way I view it. We have to end up the game with more goals than they do and with a win, regardless of who scored first. If they score first, we can't get our heads down. I think the game is over. We're at home. We should be confident. It is a pity that the fans are not there. I know people are saying the government doesn't like football and other different things. Governments have a lot to deal with. I don't know the rationale for the ultimate decision of not allowing fans in the stadium. I'm sure the government is thinking about the country more holistically than just a football match, regardless of how the football match helped the country in terms of generating interest and all that. So there must be a reason why the government thinks that, you know what, a football game with fans may create more spike in the virus. I know people sometimes can't buy into that, but I don't know all the specifics to criticize the government. But I do say that fans do contribute greatly to players and motivating them and getting them to perform well, especially the fans are positive and not negative. But sometimes they can have the opposite effect. But I think when fans understand, players do feel the vibes and feel the energy. And the coach sort of refers to that also when he spoke about the team.
Coach, thanks for having me. Cranky. Sean,
Yes.
Hannah diligence and service.
Best up, Devon.
Yeah, man.
All right.
So, yeah, man.
All right. So there's a question coming from Mr. Diddlywinks. How highly do you actually rate the Jamaican team squad? Despite the greatest crop of talent we have had, I sense trepidation, fear. Why? That's so many questions in one, you know.
So first thing I say, coach, is we have won 1 of 8 games. I don't know if that's trepidation or realism. And when you have won 1 of 8 games with a supposedly good crop of players, it does cause some kind of pessimism. It does create anxiety. You have no room for failure in this window or the next window. It creates anxiety, especially if you have aspirations to go to the World Cup and people expect you to go to the World Cup, given that this region get 4 spots or 3.5 spots. And we believe that we have the crop of players to allow us to achieve our objective. And frankly, I hate to go back to this because we're trying to be positive, but if JFF had done their jobs, we'd have more crop of players that are available in all the key positions, and we wouldn't be in this situation. If they had made their coaching changes when the coach changes were made, if they recruited players thoughtfully, if they had gone on source income, we can go back to this whole litany of things they should have done. We would have been a much better place. So we're gonna sit here and lament the fact that we are gonna miss another World Cup when most people across the globe who know Jamaican football realize that we had a lot of players at our disposal that we could have brought into the team, and we have in the team, and we could have been in a much better situation than we are today. We should not be in this situation at all. And the JFF must take responsibility for that.
What do you say, Sean?
Coach, I'm sorry, I'm multitasking here. What was the question?
Oh, it's on the screen. How highly do you rate the Jamaican squad?
So actually, I'm gonna answer that question with a question. How strong is the squad selected to the players we have available? Because I think we are missing several key players at several roles. I don't think the offense is as strong as it can be because we're missing Nicholson and Roof. On the wings, we are missing Bailey. We are missing Jamal. I think the strongest part of the squad is defense. I mean, defensively, it's a pretty solid team. But apart from that, I think we're missing several players in midfield and in offense.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do think, Coach, that we're strong at center forward, even with Nicholson missing. If Ravel plays up to his ability, we're strong in the 10 position if he plays the 10, or even the 8, frankly. But as Sean alluded to, on the wings, we've said this, and even Speed said it when he was here, the wing position is not our strength at this moment. It's just not. And that's a problem because you want to play with some width to give your team space to be able to maneuver. If you don't have that width, it becomes challenging.
All right. Who's gonna go with their team first?
I'll yield to
You want to
Stan.
go, Sean? Or you want me to go first? I don't mind going first.
I'll yield to Stan.
So I will stay with the back three that you have out. Yeah, I stay with the back three, Coach. I will move Stewart and put Javain Brown where Stewart is. I will move Bobby Reed and put Taxi where Bobby Reed is. And up top, I will have Ravel, Bobby, and Antonio.
You using the same formation, Cranky?
I'm using a 3-4-3 formation.
3-4-3. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to think it's more 3-5-2. I'm gonna call it 3-4-3. Ravel gonna roam across the middle, and Bobby Reed gonna be flexible.
Who you using in here?
So I have Speedy, Stewart. Even though I don't think the coach is going to play Stewart, but I'm going to put Stewart there anyway.
You made mention of Bobby Reed on the left there.
Bobby Reed, Ravel, and Antonio. I know people are going to say, well, Antonio, Ravel is not a winger. Neither is Mason Mount, but Chelsea play him up there anyway.
And I think Wayne Rooney was trying him up there, you know.
Well, he'll rotate across the front. He won't be a true winger. We're going to have Javain spending much more time going forward and Liam Moore Lowe coming over to help. I think Liam Moore should be in the middle, Coach. To me, Lowe should be on the right.
Come on, I'm going to make that adjustment.
We can have Lowe go cover on for Javain Brown, but I think Ravel is going to be going across the whole front line, and Antonio and Reed more playing up front. But we start out with this construct.
All right. How you rate this team, people? How you rate this Stan Cranky team? Speak with your fingers. All right, I see a 8. Duclan Sennett is saying that he sees the coach playing Stewart. Grammar Zone is saying 9.
I'm not sure he's gonna play Stewart. When I heard him talk today, coach, I get the
Mm-hmm.
sense because you say it was bringing Stewart into introduce him to the team.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't talking as if he's gonna play him. I think he's probably gonna play DJ instead of Stewart. But I'm still putting Stewart there because he's more defensive minded than
Mm-hmm.
Ravel, Speedy, and or DJ.
DJ, yeah. Ball Carson White 9.5. Balakar 10. Demari McCollum 9. Lloyd 8. Andrew 8. Foreign Spider 9. You get some good grades there, Cranky. Pass the exam, man.
Yeah, I normally do, coach. I don't start to fail exams actually.
All right. So people like this setup. So
I
let's
think
see.
some people are saying Reed shouldn't play. I don't disagree that Reed form for the country has been great,
Mm-hmm.
but Reed does offer you something which is important, which is he does defend, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and here's the question: what are the options? Is it a Lamar Walker or Flemo in his position? You can't play DJ up there because then you have too many midfielders on the field and
Mm-hmm.
not enough people with pace outside. So you have a choice between Bobby Reed, Lamar Walker, Peter Lee Vassell, Flemo. I think I would play Bobby instead of each of them just because of his defensive capability, coupled with he does have some offensive skills.
Right. So good grade for this team. Some average this team is a 9 or 9.5, but a 9 on average. All right. So Sean,
So,
let me see
coach,
what.
let me just critique the squad real quick before
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
do
Go ahead.
mine. So the issue I have here is that I want the most influential player on the field in the midfield to have a more central role. So I don't like Ravel being out wide. That's the first issue that I have with the squad.
So, coach,
Ravel out
can
wide.
I rebut that, coach? I did say, Robert is going to play all across. Look how
Okay.
Chelsea plays with. Wait, look how Chelsea plays with Mason Mount. They play Hudson-Odoi up front with Lukaku and Mount on the right, but Mount end up being like a 10, half 10, in terms of how he rotates.
All
So
right.
you're playing 4 in the midfield, you know. So it's a little bit different construct actually. But your point is valid, which is if he's on the right, isn't he losing? But he's gonna float there. He's not gonna be just in one spot.
All right. So if I envision the squad, so when Ravel falls or floats in a more central role, it's going to become a 3-5-2, and you're then gonna have Bobby Reed and Mikel Antonio playing up top. And if you gave me the choice between Bobby Reed and Antonio or Gray and Antonio, I'm going with Gray and Antonio. So with that being said, my formation would be a 3-5-2.
Right. So I'll rebut first, then you can go put your side up. So my view is this, which is I am not playing Gray and Antonio. I don't think Gray is versatile enough in today's day, given his age and his mobility, to be out wide quite a bit. Antonio can go out wide. I don't think Gray is there defensively either. So I have to have a balanced team on the field. That's why I'm not putting 2 people up top.
I'm not putting Gray out wide.
No, but you're gonna put him up top. So where's he gonna be? He gonna be Spain beside Antonio? You're still gonna be lacking in some place. Any formation you choose have deficiencies.
So let's throw out my squad, then we can critique the squad.
Okay.
So I'm going with a 3-5-2, the same 3 you have at the back right now. Nah, not that.
Not that one, Sean.
No, sir. I want Ravel to be in front of Speedy
and he
and Stewart.
wants read off the field, right, for Gray.
Yes. So that what you have there is more a 5. Still not it.
This?
No. So Ravel. Okay.
I don't know what you're gonna get this in. All they have here is this one.
All right. So
this one.
So go back to the one you had before. Maybe people.
This one.
Persons are just gonna. All right. Yeah. So if we go with that, right? But picture this: having Ravel playing in front of Stewart and Speedy, and then you would have Antonio and Gray up front. So it's a 3-5-2 with Ravel playing that central midfield role.
So the same players them you are gonna use.
The same players, but no. So I am gonna drop Bobby for Gray.
Okay.
They really don't have a true 3-5-2 on here.
So Ravel would be at top of these two. He'd be somewhere like
the right. Yeah, and then you would swing Speedy to the right.
Yeah, I can't move it in those. I'm using my the
mouse. Yeah. So I think the formation you had before kind of better explain it. It's just that people just have to picture Ravel in that central role. And I would play what's his name?
Which one?
Gray?
This one?
No. Go back.
This?
No, the 3-4-3 that Stan had.
That?
Yeah, so that's what I have in mind. And Ravel would just play in front of
no, the only way that works is with Ravel in front and you move Gray beside Antonio, frankly.
Yeah, and you move Gray beside Antonio. So you just have to imagine Ravel dropping in a central role and Gray moving up beside Antonio.
So that was a 3-5-2, coach. Can you put up the 3-5-2?
That's it. He doesn't have a 3-5-2.
No, there's one on there. I saw one. I don't see it now, but
yeah, but it's not in like with what
Yeah.
No, try the 5-3-2, coach. Try the 5-3-2. Let me see something.
5-3-2. This one.
Yeah. It's conceptually what that should be. So you move Gray, exchange Gray with Ravel, right?
Yeah, man.
He
so
wants
Ravel
Ravel in front of
right
Speedy,
here.
though. So you rotate Gray and Speedy over. Yeah, basically, yes. It's something like that, yeah.
But I don't like how Taxi.
Hold on.
He wants Taxi and Javon to be closer to
more
in line with Speedy and with Stewart.
Yeah, because this formation to me is not a 3-5-2. That's a 5-3-2.
Ravel look like him a fight Kevin and see him now move from this. So.
Yeah. And if person can picture that formation, and I would go with Greg over Taxi because I think the work rate, or not just the work rate, getting the ball in the box. Hey, there goes my phone.
Yeah, I know people have seen.
How do people rate this one? Somebody give it a 0. Seriously?
It's funny, Coach. Last weekend when Chelsea played Tottenham, they showed the lineup similar to this. They had Hudson-Odoi and Lukaku up front, just like how this setup is. When the game started, they actually playing. That wasn't the setup they have actually. They had Mount rotating almost across the front line, mainly on the right. Hudson-Odoi was really out wide, and Lukaku was up top. So when people talk about these formations, when you actually execute the formation, it may not work exactly as it seems on paper. You know, 2 years ago when Arsenal was winning the FA Cup and they played three at the back, they had Smith Rowe playing almost inside left, but more inside than on the wing, even though it was supposed to be a left winger. And they had Tierney running the whole left flank. So coaches will tinker with the formation within the formation when they're playing. They don't always subscribe or execute based on what's on paper.
Yeah, man.
Sean,
All right, so yeah, apparently. So people are voting again or giving this squad a grade. Mark Plunkett, big up yourself. Carson White 9, Richard Stevens 8, Paper Plate 8, 7.554, 7.
But he said Greg Lee said a taxi, you know, so he probably should change that one.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
But many people think that Gray should play beside Antonio. I just don't think it works as well. I think we tried against Panama, even though Panama was a mess, but we had Roof and Antonio top. Didn't work to me. Antonio needs room to maneuver. He needs elbow room.
And Gray doesn't provide that?
He needs elbow room to maneuver. He needs to go out wide and go in the middle. He just needs that space. I don't think his link-up plays more with his wingers and with his 10 versus with another center forward.
All right. I don't think we have much. Somebody easy workout is saying that's a good 11. 3-5-2. Somebody is saying is a static formation. 9.9. All right. I think we have reached to the end of this show. Would have had the interview with Coach Harry Watling, and persons would have come on and shared their Cranky and Sean would have shared their 11. We're hoping to do a pretty decent job against the Mexicans tomorrow evening. The match is scheduled for 7 p.m. at Eastern Standard and Jamaica time. Persons are going to be asking, where can we watch the match? I am not certain. All I know is that you can watch it on S-Gold.
So in the US, you can watch the match on CBS Sports or Paramount Plus.
All right.
And I think in the Caribbean, you can watch it on ESPN, if I'm not mistaken.
ESPN 2?
In the Caribbean ESPN, I think it's probably 2, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
But S goes a little bit slower, actually.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Any final thoughts you want to share, Cranky, before we close off?
Yeah, look, I think Paul Hall suggests that the team can feel the energy of the fans, even though they're not at the stadium. Maybe it's through YouTube or whatever medium that they're getting information in. So that's good. So people should come out in their droves on different platforms and support the team. And we hope the team plays well tomorrow and come out victorious, because we do need this victory to give us hope to progress. I think if the coach picks the right team, they play up to their ability, they have a good chance of being successful.
All right, definitely so. I believe that. And so tomorrow we'll be having a watch along as well, people. And I hope that I'll be able to give you live reports from the office let's see how that one
Oh,
works
wait,
out.
back up. I forgot you're no official media. So unlike the peons who can get to the stadium, that's not a concern for you and some other people who are no official media personnel. Congrats.
Yeah, man, thanks. I am humbled. Yeah, man. So we'll be having a watch along. You have to be on over here so that you can, enjoy the commentary, the halftime report, as well as the post-match report on spot. And of course, that we will be going to the hotel to give some more closer insight on what is happening. So appreciate everyone that tuned in tonight. Thanks very much. Big up to Coach Harry Watling, who came on as well. And he gave us his 11 as well. He spoke highly of the Jamaicans that he has in his team, and his aim is actually to help them in getting back into the national team. And he also speaks of the Jamaican League that he has been having his eyes on, and there are players that he's actually interested in. You know what I mean? So again, stay tuned. We will be back tomorrow afternoon, live watch along, and we'll also be live from the office. Thanks again, people, for tuning in. And just remember that this video was brought to you by Richos Roots Drink. Richos Roots Drink, which is your Jamaican experience. And they are also in the sorrel drink flavor. So definitely you can link up on the WhatsApp number on any social media platform, and we will be getting some of these items to you. Thanks again. Until next time, people, stay safe. Peace out. Let me play the style and flavor for you. Where it is. Okay. Or I can close it off with the
Richos Roots Drink works for menstrual cramps and pain, migraines, fatigue, stress and tiredness, sinusitis, builds immune defense, bloating, enhances male bedroom prowess, and Richos Sorrel Roots Drink works against all types of cancers and tumors, memory loss, high cholesterol, insomnia, nervous issues, flu, and many other illnesses. For your Richos Roots Drink and Richos Sorrel Roots Drink, contact us now via WhatsApp at 876-528-9534. Richos Roots Drink and Richos Sorrel Roots Drink. Richos, a true Jamaican experience.